now we're getting to the pH, pOH conversions. Okay, and the two constants that you definitely need to remember is pH plus pOH is going to always equal 14. So anytime I've given the pH, I can always find the pOH, right? So if the pH equals 9, then 14 minus 9 is going to give me the pOH, and in this case it would be 5. All right, and so anytime you're given the pOH and you're asked for the pH, I'm given the pOH is 2, and I want the pH, all right, it's 14 minus 2 equals 12, so the pH would equal 12. All right, and so anytime I'm given one of these two, I can always solve the other one by subtracting 14. Now, if I'm given the concentration, so if I'm given the H plus concentration equals, we're going to keep it simple in the beginning, so 1.0 times 10 to the minus 6, all right, then how do I solve for the pH? All right, and you can't solve for the pOH directly from this. You can only solve for the pH because this is the acid ion, right? So it's going to be the negative log of the concentration is going to give me the pH. All right, so how do I punch that in my calculator? All right, if you have a Casio or a TI calculator, then you can just simply put negative and hit the log button and then hit 1.0 exponent negative 6, okay, and your answer you're going to get is going to be 6, all right? If you have one of these older Casios, okay, we call these the ghetto calculators, then you have to work backwards. So I'm going to put the number in first, 1.0, and then I hit exponent negative 6, then I hit the log button, then I hit the negative. So you type this in first, then you hit the log button, then you hit the negative.
Wait, what happens after you do the negative 6?
Okay? 1.0 exponent negative 6, then you hit the log button, then you hit the negative button, and you should get 6. All right? So I'm going to do a little harder one now. So try this. If you have, what is the concentration of 4.0 times 10 to the minus 8? All right, so it's going to be 4.0 times 10 to the minus 8. So you're going, if you have one of the ghetto calculators, it's going to be 4.0 exponent negative 8. Then you hit the log button, then you hit the negative sign, and your pH equals 7.397. So we're just going to go 7.4. All right? Now, if I have the H plus concentration, and it's asking me for the OH minus concentration, then I'm going to use what's called my KW formula. And we learned before that with water, it was 1.0 times 10 to the minus 7 for my OH times 1.0 times 10 to the minus 7 for my H plus, which gives me 1.0 times 10 to the minus 14. That is the water constant. Okay? So we can use this water constant when we're solving for other concentrations. So if I know what my hydroxide concentration is, and I don't know what my hydrogen concentration is, I can solve for it. So how do I do that? I take what my known concentration, so we're going to say your hydroxide concentration is 5.6 times 10 to the negative 3, and I don't know my hydrogen concentration. Well, you set it equal to 1.0 times 10 to the minus 14. All right, so I'm solving for H. So H is going to equal 1.0 times 10 to the minus 14 divided by my hydroxide concentration. And you're going to get your hydroxide concentration, and that's what the bracket stands for, is concentration, equals 1.79 times 10 to the negative 12 for my hydrogen concentration. All right, so that's how you would do one of those. Now, the last thing is this. You should be able, given one, if I'm given either the pH or the hydrogen concentration, or the pOH, or the OH concentration, I should be able to solve. If I'm given one of these, I should be able to solve for the other three. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If I'm given the H plus concentration, hydrogen concentration, we're going to say it is 4.69 times 10 to the second. How do I solve for pH, pOH, and OH? And is it an acid, is it a base, or is it neutral? So those are the four things I'm solving for. So step one, if I have this concentration, right, if I take the negative log of 4.69 times 10 to the negative 2, okay, then I'm going to get the pH. All right, so if I do that, it's negative log 4.69 exponent negative 2. All right, then my pH equals 1.33. All right, so if I know my pH, can I solve for my pOH? Yes. How do I do that? 14 minus the pH equals pOH. So 14 minus 1.33 gives me
1267.
1267 for my pOH. All right. Now, how do I solve for my OH concentration? I can use the KW formula, which is 1.00 times 10 to the minus 14, right? And that equals the hydrogen concentration times the hydroxide concentration. What do I know? I know my hydrogen concentration, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by the hydrogen concentration. So 4.69 times 10 to the minus 2. So now it's 1.00 exponent negative 14 divided by 4.69 exponent negative 2, and your hydrogen or hydroxide concentration equals 2.13 times 10 to the minus 13. All right? And then is it an acid, is it a base, or is it neutral? What do I need to look at for that? Always go back to your pH. Remember, pH of 0 to 6, acid. 8 to 14, base. 7, neutral, right? So it's 1.3, so it is an acid. All right, so that's how you go from concentration to pH, concentration to concentration, pH to pOH. All right?
Copy?